Hey, what's up, everybody? The VC here, coming at you with another video about anything and everything. That's just what the focal matter is, and got some interesting stuff I wanted to talk about. And all I gotta say is very fascinating if it can be pulled off, right? Also, I want to cancel, the whole cancel culture. I want to cancel a couple things too. So, without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So, last couple days, been hearing about how President Trump has had a high level meetings with El Salvador. Right. By the way, El Salvador was one of the first countries that used and took in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, as a legal tender. All right. Kind of paved the way for other countries to follow. But El Salvador was first, and it really put them on the map in terms of just creating its own, I don't want to say wealth, but they've bought in enough Bitcoin that, it can maintain and sustain its country. And on top of that, they also have a mega prison, if not the most highly secure, probably the largest mega prison in the world. And they put the hardest of the hard criminals, gangsters, and all that stuff locked up here. And it's one of those places where they don't tolerate shit. It's not like soft America. Give them, a long ass leash, soft on crime. Oh, if it's not under, $950, then don't lock them up. We gotta early release all these people when they don't deservedly, be released, and they'll still go back out and commit crimes. Whereas El Salvador, they don't deal with this shit. And so, olive branch to that is that El Salvador is offering their mega prison for not only illegals, but also for American criminals. I thought that's fascinating as hell. And Trump has said that he would explore, laws and stuff like that into, maybe sending American criminals to that mega prison. And I think that would send a message overall that crime doesn't pay, right? Because if you do want to pay, well, you will pay in a mega prison, and that'll send a message that maybe you shouldn't commit crimes. But some people are just not able to be rehabilitated, right? That's the whole idea about in prison, is to be rehabilitated, and some people are just not able to do that, right? The ones that have been arrested like 40 some times, 20 some times, all that stuff, and there's no fixing them, right? They're just going to do the same thing over and over again, and they get released and do the same thing over and over. And rather than put lives at risk, might as well just lock them up in one of these places. So let's go take a look at this right here.
On Secretary of State Marco Rubio's whirlwind tour of Latin America, a potentially unprecedented offer from the president of El Salvador.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
President Nayib Bukele.
That's great. Think about that. He'll take anybody over here. Probably take a small fee, for housing these people. But that's a great way to go. That'll teach all these people a lesson. Again, that you can't just have your cake and eat it too.
Revealing more in a post on X, offering the U.S., quote, the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system in exchange for a fee. And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
And being that El Salvador is technically a third world country, I can't imagine the fee is big at all right? Because to house a prisoner in the United States, the cost is pretty high. That's the reason why they, cut and do early releases for prisoners, because of the fact that the cost of housing them is pretty high. And so the way they look at it is, well, if they could, cut the cost, and just by releasing them, then that would be, money saved, right? But at the same time, it offers, it really makes society pay, because we're going to have all these people that are going to reoffend and commit major crimes once again, and then our lives are at risk, right? So, just saying.
Offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence.
Yeah, do it.
No country's ever made an offer of friendship such as this.
But that offer, especially to take U.S. citizens, raising major concerns.
It's a non-starter to talk about deporting U.S. citizens.
ACLU.
It's point blank unlawful.
Unless someone has committed a crime abroad, extensive constitutional and legal protections exist to prevent that in most cases. And for citizens of other countries apprehended here, regulations are still in place.
They have to follow the very strict requirements Congress has laid.
I'm with the classic take of, once you commit major crime, you get locked up, you got no rights now. It's in our hands now to do what we please. And I think that, we might as well just send them off.
Laid out, which means an agreement between the U.S. and El Salvador, but also an absolute guarantee that those individuals will be safe in El Salvador from danger, persecution, and torture.
Fuck out of here, man.
Rubio today acknowledging it's unclear if such an action would be legal.
Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things. But it's a very generous offer.
It is.
That offer would put convicted criminals in President Bukele's notorious mega prison, known as the Terrorism Confinement Center. Built by Bukele to house alleged members of gangs that had once helped make El Salvador one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It has become a symbol of his crackdown on crime. That crackdown has swept up 80,000 people and enjoyed public support.
Los niños hoy van a las escuelas sin sus padres, caminan seguros con la seguridad que van a regresar a sus casas y no van a ser secuestrados por los pandilleros.
That mega prison, the size of 7 football stadiums, with a capacity to hold 40,000 prisoners. Movements are tightly controlled. No mattresses are offered. Prisoners spend all but 30 minutes per day in packed cells. The State Department under President Biden called prison conditions in the country harsh and life-threatening. But President Trump tonight doubling down on his willingness to consider the offer.
It's no different than a prison system, except it would be a lot less expensive, and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries. No, we'll have to find that out legally. I'm just saying, if we had the legal right to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Ellison, we know there are at least 2 military flights that have transported migrants from the mainland U.S. to the naval base on Guantanamo Bay. We know that one of those military flights left Fort Bliss in Texas with 10 migrants aboard. The White House is characterizing the migrants in question as, in their words, quote, the worst of the worst, in some ways, in some instances characterizing them as gang members. However, we don't know for sure who these people are or what crimes exactly they have been accused or convicted of committing. And indeed, the reason this move is raising alarm among some advocates and others is because Guantanamo is known for its lack of transparency, lack of due process, lack of things such as access to counsel. However, the Trump administration has said that it intends to follow due process with the migrants it is detaining on Guantanamo Bay. Ellison?
David Noriega, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
Heck yeah. I would definitely explore that. Why not? Because it would definitely send a message.
Great. The new GoDaddy Arrow has AI marketing tools to help small business.
Estamos finalizando, creo que lo va a anunciar el secretario, estamos anunciando un acuerdo que es mucho más importante en el mismo tema. Creo que es de mucho más importante y un alcance mucho mayor que esos acuerdos que se hicieron en el 2019. En este caso es algo que, bueno, si lo terminamos de cerrar, lo dirá el secretario, pero en el caso es un acuerdo muchísimo mayor que no tiene precedentes en la historia de las relaciones. No solo Estados Unidos con El Salvador, sino creo que con América Latina. Innegable que Estados Unidos es nuestro socio más importante, es nuestro socio comercial más importante, nuestro mayor comprador de nuestras exportaciones.
All right, whatever. So this is great. So we're building bridges to other countries here in terms of relationships. And this the willingness to take on our convicted criminals. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I would take that offer. Why not?
And of a nation, economy that will allow this ship and legal.
Teach them all a lesson. Illegals, all that stuff. This is great. All right, so we have that. Now, let's talk about a couple things that came about the last couple of days, and I was like, man, it's just interesting. Let me see if I see anything here. But I love the mega prison idea. Why not, right? Protests are still going on in parts of USA, especially LA area, like a bunch of clowns that they are, protesting over nonsense.
News today, more local protests are happening over President Trump's immigration policies.
Students in several schools have walked out of class. KTLA 5's Rich Prickett is above a crowd in downtown Los Angeles and Sky 5. Rich?
Where are they protesting about? When you think about it, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just doing it because they're told to.
Yeah, Glenn and Lou, and you're seeing a few hundred of those students here making a march towards City Hall. We're along First Street in San Pedro, so making our way through the little Tokyo area from the Boyle Heights area. You can see the long line of protesters that are making their way along First Street, as well as a caravan of cars that are following directly behind them, all with flags and signs. Where are they headed? Well, they're headed down First Street, and they're going to make their way over to City Hall, where they're going to merge with another group that's here on the steps of City Hall. So there's going to be several hundred, if not well over 1,000 of students that will now be joined together here in front of City Hall in downtown LA. This, of course, all in protest of the recent enforcement of immigration policies. We've seen another group that was along Hill Street in the Alvarez Street area, which will eventually make their way towards this direction as well. But now several groups.
All these dumbass kids. I mean, when you think about it, they're waving the Mexican flag and all that. Go back to Mexico then, if you love that country so much, right? What's the point of doing all this? If you love the country so much, go back to Mexico. If it's such a better place for you, and you love it so much, then what are you protesting here for? All because they're trying to get rid of illegal immigrants. Illegal, not immigrants. Illegal immigrants.
Becoming a large group here in the front of City Hall. Live in Sky 5, I'm Rich Prickett. Send it back to you in Hollywood.
All right, thank you, Rich. This morning, LA City leaders announcing new legislation to protect immigrants. It includes a proposal to inform immigrants about their rights and funding for legal services.
KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is live outside City Hall in downtown LA with the latest details. Hi, Kimberly.
If they're illegal, how can you get any rights if you're illegal?
Hi, we were here for that news conference with council members that wrapped up a short while ago. And while we've been out here in front of City Hall, we did notice some of those smaller groups of students who were taking part in the school walkouts.
Dumbass kids. They don't even know what they're doing this for.
This is one of the groups here. They told me they're from Santee High School. They walked out today and marched past City Hall to join that larger group that we saw. We later saw another group of teens who told me that they're from Orthopedic Hospital Medical Magnet High School in Los Angeles. They also marched by City Hall. They had their backpacks on. They were holding signs on their way to join that larger group of demonstrators. They were passionate and said their message is personal. Now, these are teens, many 14 and 15 years old.
Bunch of dumbass kids.
We're just here to speak our voice for our parents who can't come out, that they come from another country and we just want to like come out here and speak for them.
Not just our parents, also like the people, the workers that just like come here and just like help us every day. I'm pretty disappointed because many immigrants did so much for us, and like it's not right if like a lot of people like want to take them away from us. So
I think people should be able to come and live here peacefully without like having fear.
There's a lot of kids at school that feel some sort of fear because they know that one of these days if ICE ever comes near their parents or something, they can possibly get deported.
Dumbass kids, man.
Around 10 a.m., we saw one of the larger demonstrations that we mentioned. This was near John Marshall High School. Roughly 200 to 300 students marched onto the Glendale-Hyperion Bridge near the 5 freeway in Silver Lake. Police say student demonstrators blocked the bridge before dispersing. Social media posts also show students at other schools walking out, including Garfield High School. Now, this follows demonstrations around the city over the past few days over the Trump administration's immigration policies and mass deportations. 1 in 3 Angelenos are immigrants, according to city leaders who held a news conference in front of City Hall this morning and introduced an initiative that aims to strengthen safeguards for immigrants. Council members Imelda Padilla, Eunices Hernandez, Isabel Jurado, and Hugo Soto Martinez took part along with immigrants' rights organizations, including Chirla, Kerosene, ACLU, SoCal, and labor unions. Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez said President Trump wants to scapegoat and attack immigrant neighbors, and they are not taking it lightly. He introduced a package of legislation.
You don't like it, then go too.
The legislation will make sure that we're prepared and that we're ready to fight back, which involves a comprehensive Know Your Rights campaign across the entire city.
If you're illegal, how can you have any rights?
And employers understand their rights and don't fall victim to ICE intimidation. Worksite enforcement notification so that we can track the ICE raids and ensure workers get legal protections. Immigration support at LAX to prepare for any potential travel bans, supporting state legislation to protect immigrants, and finally, keeping local immigrants' rights organizations running despite federal cuts.
That's
that
all
legislation
anyways,
will be presented at today's council meeting, and you're back here live. We just wanted to show you. You can see at the corner there in front of City Hall another group, a larger group of demonstrators now passing by this area. Reporting live here in downtown LA, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
Corrupt.
More boxes, more.
All right, guys are a bunch of clowns, man. All right. So yeah, the other day there's some fat girl, that tried to take an Uber. They made a big deal about it. Yeah, this chick here. She was denied Lyft, or I guess it wasn't an Uber, it was Lyft, because she was too big for the car, right? And so she tried to make a big deal of it. And she was saying, well, my friend, she's 500 pounds. Look at that, 500 pounds, suing Lyft, right? And think about that, all right? She said, well, the guy tried to deny her going into the car, and it was just one of those things like, it's okay. Maybe you should try to get another ride, because you have the right, reserve the right to, deny riders, right? She says, oh, well, it's fine. I've rode in these cars before. My friend has the same kind of car. Well, then if your friend has the same kind of car, why don't you call your friend? You know what I'm saying? And so, when you look at her, and trying to fit into some tiny car, and the guy wasn't culturally correct, right? Because you got a lot of what do you call that? Culturally, when you're in the United States, all right, you gotta. It's hard to be aware of all the different cultures in the United States because we're like this melting pot, and at the same time, a lot of people's feelings get hurt. All this stuff all the time because we allow that to happen, right? Like for example in sports, everybody has to be a winner. There's no losers. You can't hurt people's feelings by telling them the truth, right? And if you do, then you get litigated on, shit like that, right? So you see it all right? All this stuff. Fat woman sues Uber driver for being fat, right? All this stuff, and it's just funny because she was just too big for the car. Look at her. Right? And no one really told her that, hey, you know what, maybe you are pretty fat and that you're just too damn big for the car. There's nothing wrong with just being told that. But she refuses to accept that and tries to sue Lyft, and Lyft caved into, we're going to do better, because discrimination and stuff, and it's fat shaming and all this other crap. But I want to cancel her because she's full of crap. And again, if she was that big and she says she rode in a car like that before from her friend, then go call your friend. Why you got to get into someone else's car that you could barely fit in, and so it's just, I don't know. I just want to cancel her because I think she's just trying to bring some clout to herself, but she's full of shit. Yeah, so I want to cancel this bitch because, I don't know, I saw the headlines, but it didn't really interest me. I didn't really care. And then when I started to read into it more, she's like morbidly obese. She's too fat for a small car. And because she was denied because it's a small car, she tried to sue because she's fat. Alright, and it's like, really? It's like, come on now. So, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just like, come on. It's like, this is just stupid. So I want to cancel her. I don't care because it's just trying to get attention, right? Because these days, like I said, everybody has to be a winner. There's no losers. You can't, tell a girl straight in her face that as fat as she is, it's not acceptable. It's not. I mean, look at her. Like, how can anybody like that? And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being truthful. All right. It's just too much. It's too much. And then lastly, I wanted to cancel the Grammys, all right, because they're woke. This is all woke shit, right? The woke with protesting for migrants, for immigrants, even though it's just getting rid of illegals. So that's woke bullshit. This whole thing with you can't tell the girl the truth because it's insulting, it hurts people's feelings, even though she's fat. It's some woke bullshit. And then the Grammys, all right, for 2025 with Beyonce, I want to cancel that too because we're in a cancel culture, and like, how can she won album of the year for Cowboy Carter, right? So album of the year for best country album. So you're telling me that of all the different country music singers, throughout time and history and the genre currently, that you cannot find one album, you cannot find one artist, country, to be able to to win the award that it takes Beyonce, who is not even really in her genre, to win best country album. We got some problems here. I think it's just a woke bullshit call because Grammys are woke. They're just trying to make it look appealing, to all different types of people and woke causes and all that stuff. So I just want to cancel the Grammys as well because this is just complete bullshit that you're telling me you cannot find an artist, you cannot find anybody that can win a country music award, that it takes an out of genre artist to win it, right? That's just as bad as when you have like a transgender swimmer dominating the females because it's transgender, right? Guy dominating the females even though they claim to be a girl. Or pageantry, right? When you have like pageants where transgender wins a pageant, you're telling me that transgender can beat real women in a pageant? I mean, what kind of shit is that? All this woke nonsense, all this woke bullshit. The only thing that's not woke is the prison thing I talked about in the very beginning. All right, but this is just crap right here. And to me, Hollywood has lost me. All right, ever since they started really being woke, right, and blue, and when they did shit like support Kamala because she just brings joy to the campaign and she just brings joy in everybody, and they're full of shit, right, when they say that shit. And then it had to take houses burning in LA in their neighborhoods, right, high upscale homes, in order to really change their mind about stuff, but too little too late. I mean, I don't know, the Grammys is crap. All these award shows are crap anyways, and Hollywood to me has lost me a long time ago, because they're just in it for themselves, right? They're the elites, and they don't care. They're so above us, they don't care about us. So yeah, screw them all. All right, cancel. Beyonce. Used to like Destiny's Child. I didn't mind them back then, with the albums and all that. But these days, come on, you got to win Album of the Year for Best Country Album. Get out of here. All right, that's just some woke nonsense. All right, you're just trying to create headlines. This is shit. All right, Grammys are done. All these award shows are done. They're just woke nonsense. They're canceled. All right, these are canceled. All right, the fat chick trying to sue Lyft, canceled. All right, screw her too. So that's just my rant for today. My rant is send them all to the criminals, that is, and illegals, to Guantanamo and El Salvador, and that'll send a message. And so that is today for you guys. Thank you. Subscribe. And I'm on YouTube. I'm on Rumble. And I'm under the weather. I'm just aching. And that's where it's at. Thank you. And for daily content, subscribe. That way you can see what we got going on. All right, enough for me. All right, I'm gonna stop now. I'll see you in the next one.